Today I got first place in my locals using Spright. This could be a Spright can, but like I don't want to buy a Spright because it'd be supporting Coca-Cola after that AI ad that they made and they doubled down on it for some reason. Take a 7-Up instead. This deck profile will also contain a combo at the end, so stick around, subscribe if you haven't, and let's get into it. Starting off with the main deck, we got triple Spright Blue, triple Spright Jet, double Spright Red, 1 carrot. That is all for the monsters, and for those who do not know what Spright does, since this deck is 3 years old at this point, people might not know what these do. So Spright Blue, if you control a level 2 or rank 2 monster, you're able to special summon this card from hand. That also applies to the effect of Spright Jet, and pretty much these two you could do it with a rank 2. You can special summon both from hand with a rank 2, and these two are with a level 2 or a link 2. So that's an interesting difference that these two have. So Spright Blue's effect on summon, you get to search a Spright monster from your deck to your hand. Spright Jet lets you add a Spright Spar's Trap from deck to hand. Spright Red is a monster negate that you have to tribute another level 2 or link 2 or rank 2 to be able to negate. And if you tributed a link 2 or rank 2, you can destroy that monster that got negated. And Spright Carrot is the same as Spright Red, but for spells and traps. So that is pretty much what these cards do. That's it for the monsters. Now let's get into the Spright spells. We have triple starter. So this card special summons 1 Spright from deck, and you get to lose life points equal to the attack of the monster that you summoned. So for example, if you summon Spright Blue, you lose on him in 1100 because it has 1100 attack. Also for the rest of the turn, you're locked into level 2s, link 2s, and rank 2s. So that's something to keep in mind if you're playing this deck. We're also on Gamma Burst. All level 2, link 2, and rank 2 monsters on the field gain 1400 attack and defense until the end of the turn. This card is really good for ending a game. It's really nice for that because you summon a bunch of your guys and they all become like 2000 plus guys because of it, and you swing for that much damage, or you're able to out a bunch of big guys your opponent controls. And also in some Shadow Mosquito lines, you're able to use this to make sure that you don't take enough damage, so you don't lose the game, but you're able to burn your opponent to win the game pretty much. Also, we're on Double Cross. For those who do not know what Double Cross is, target 1 monster on the field or graveyard, you attach it if you control an XYZ monster, or you summon it to your field to a link zone that a link 2 points to, which is really insane. Like I especially like the Exceed material thing, because you're able to attach a guy that your opponent summons after you summon a floodgate on their field, which is awesome. So that will be one of the lines that we'll be covering in this video. So yep, that's pretty much it for the Spright package. Let's move on for our other level 2 packages. We got Nimble Beaver at 3. We got Double Angler, and we got 1 Foolish Burial. Okay, so Nimble Beaver on normal summon, you get to summon a Nimble monster from graveyard or deck, which is insane. So you summon either another Nimble Beaver or a Nimble Angler, or if you send Nimble Angler from the hand or deck to graveyard, you're able to special summon 2 Nimble monsters that aren't Nimble Angler. So you pretty much want to always have at least 2 Nimble Beavers in your deck. So if you're gonna summon the Nimble Beaver, you most likely just summon an Angler, and then later on you send the Nimble Angler off of the effect of Sprint, or if you have Foolish Burial, you're able to just Foolish Burial send the Angler. So that's why I have Nimble Angler as part of this package, by the way. I mean, the Foolish Burial as part of the Nimble package. Now for our next level 2 package, we got triple Swap Frog. Ronin Totem is banned, though you know who you're sending with this? Mirror Mage of the Ice Barrier. So this card is a level 2 Water Aqua, which lets you if it's sent to the graveyard, you're able to add yourself a Ice Barrier card from deck or banish from hand, which is really cool. And the card you're adding is Freezing Chains of the Ice Barrier. So pretty much you send this, or you go Swap Frog, you send this, activate effect, add yourself this, use this effect to summon it back, and there you got a free Totally Awesome, which is crazy. There it is. There's a big frog. So yeah, it's pretty much a 1-card negate, which is awesome. Love to see that. And for our final level 2, Nightmare Corruptor Ibli. So this is another card that should be in the chopping block of floodgates that should be banned. So this card, when it's sent to graveyard as link material, you're able to summon it to your opponent's field, and while this card's face up on the field, they cannot like summon like special summon unless it's a link summon. So this card is insane, this format, because of the fact that you know, you summon it to a Yummy board, they're gonna normal summon a Yummy, and you're like, okay, cool, I'll just like steal it with Double Cross. Just insane. And you know, Draco Tail, they just normal summon a guy, you just steal that as well. They clearly can't do much with that. You know, Mitsurugi does nothing because they can't special summon. And yeah, it's pretty much the same scenario for a lot of these cards, which is crazy. So yeah, this card's insane, this format. That's why I decided to play this deck, because this card is just that broken, and this deck can just summon it very easily. Since we have Gigantic Spright, Gigantic Spright lets us summon this from deck. So we summon it from deck, we like link, summon it, and then we make sure we leave our field not being able for our opponent to just switch this to attack and just attack and destroy it. So our opponent has to like make a decision to you know, start defending, and by start defending I mean lose the game. So yeah, that's pretty much it for our level 2s. Let's get into the hand traps. We have triple Ash Blossom, triple Molcharmi Fuelos, triple Drone Lockbird. It's not a hand trap, but this is a staple that I'm playing. We have triple Forbidden Droplet. I have triple Imperm and 1 Call by the Grave. So it's pretty normal, realistically. Droplet could probably have been like Dark Ruler, honestly, because Dark Ruler is like insane if you're playing against like a lot of Yamimitsu. Though I wanted to play Droplet mainly for the fact that like I was expecting to see Draco Tail a lot, because you get to like dodge certain things to that. And also the good thing about playing Droplet in this deck is the fact that you're able to send a Nimble Angler. You send the Nimble Angler, it triggers, which is crazy. So you pretty much get your negate plus being able to summon 2 from deck. The rest are pretty self-explanatory. So yeah, let's get into the extra deck. We're playing 1 Link 1, and it's Armirage. So this card, the purpose of it is that if you draw the Ibli, you're able to normal summon the Ibli, link it off into Armirage, and you activate the Ibli effect and summon it to your opponent's field. And if they try to like switch this to attack and try to swing into it, you know, nothing happens, because both are 0, and you both of them do not get destroyed. They just, nothing realistically happens when this battle happens. So you know, that's, if you didn't know that about Yu-Gi-Oh, then that's something that is a thing in the game. Now for our Link 2s, we have Double Sprint. This card sends a level 2 from deck to graveyard on summon, which is really nice. So you're able to send the Nimble Angler or the Mirror Mage. Also, this has a separate effect. While this card's on the field, if another card, the monster special summon, you're able to detach 1 XYZ material of an XYZ monster you control, and then bounce that card that your opponent summoned to the hand, which is really cool, honestly. I like this card a lot. We have IP Masquerena. If we're playing IP Masquerena, we are playing her girlfriend. I didn't make the rules. That's just how it is. They're both really good cards. We have Haggard Lizardos. I really like Haggard Lizardos for the Ibli stuff, because you're able to when you link off the Ibli, you're able to summon the lizard. Then you're able to use the lizard effect, change this like the attack, by banishing the Lizardos, and then you're able to draw 1 based on the Lizardos effect, which is awesome. I really like that effect a lot, because you get a +1 while being able to floodgate your opponent. So if, let's say, you have very little gas, you're able to potentially draw into more gas. And we have Nightmare Phoenix, which is a really good generic card, because you're able to discard 1, which you could potentially discard a Mirror Mage or a Nimble Angler to be able to target 1 Spell Trap on the field and destroy it. So great card. This card's still relevant in this deck, which is awesome. The precursor of the Yummy level 2 synchros, we have Gigantic Spright. So you can just summon this with 2 level 2 monsters, though you have the option to XYZ summon this using a Link 2 and a level 2, which is really cool. And if you do that, then this card gains double its original attack. So 1600 and 16 defense. So it gains double its attack. So it becomes a 3200 with 16 defense. So that's really cool. Also, funny enough, it's not only with links. You can, if it has a fusion, synchro, XYZ, or link monster as the material, then the attack gets doubled. So just in case that ever comes up, though it has not come up yet, because usually you're just summoning this with the link 2 after you go for like the sprint play, sending the nimble monsters. Though yeah, you can use the effect also to detach one. It does not detach for cost, keep that in mind. So if your opponent goes ogres you, the effect will not resolve because you're not able to detach. So that's a bit of a shame. Though you get to summon a level 2 monster from your deck, and for the rest of the turn, both players are locked into level 2 monsters and link 2s and rank 2s. Keep that in mind because it means both players, meaning that your opponent cannot Nibiru you after you activated this effect. So that's how this deck plays around Nibiru. I feel so weird talking about this because I've been so used to people just knowing this information, but it's been 3 years since this deck came out and it hasn't been relevant for the longest time. So yeah, it's kind of crazy to have to explain this. Though yeah, let's continue. We have totally awesome. This is our negate. So to cool Omni negate, we get to summon a frog from deck during the standby phase, and also when we attempt to negate, so you tribute a guy. An aqua monster, and you're able to negate and then set whatever card you negated. So that's pretty cool. Also, we have Onibimaru. This card banishes, so it banishes until the end of the next opponent's end phase. Though this card is still insane for when you're trying to out your opponent's guys so you're able to go for a game, especially for the fact it's an XYZ link 2 or level 2 that has or rank 2 that has 1900. So if you have this plus the gamma burst, you're able to have this at 34, which is really high, which is awesome. And also we have Ninja Mosquito. This is our alt win condition. If our opponent has too many big guys, for example Draco Tail, they have the Arthalion on field, you're able to just summon this, have a bunch of little guys right next to it, you go Shadow Mosquito, attack it, use Shadow Mosquito effect, put a counter on it, and every time you attack into it, your opponent takes the damage equal to the original attack of that monster that has the counter. So for example, you use it on the Arthalion, and then they take 3000 for each swing that you do with a separate monster. So this card cannot be destroyed in battle, so you're able to use it as a Zeus line. So we have the downer that you get to put on top of it, and then going into the Zeus after you battled, which is awesome. And we also have Typhon as a just in case, though I really didn't know what to fit here for that one spot, so I just put in Typhon. Maybe there's a better option, but I couldn't think of anything, honestly. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the extra deck. Now let's get into the combos. Here we have our 1-card combo, which plays around Joel. So first off, we're going to go to Spright Starter on the draw phase. You're able to summon Spright Blue. You take 1100 of damage. You activate Spright Blue effect, adding yourself the Spright Jet. Joel and Lockbird only can activate during the main phase. That's why we are currently in draw phase doing this. So then we enter main phase. We're going to Spright Jet effect. We're able to add Double Cross. Then afterwards, if our opponent Joel's here, it's fine. And we're gonna go to a sprint effect, sending a Angler. You're going to Angler effect to summon 2. So you're summoning 2 Nimble Beavers. Then you're going to these 2, make a Gigantic Spright. Then you're going to Gigantic Spright effect to activate. If the result is fine, summoning the Nightmare Corruptor Ibly. Then you're going to link these 2 off into a Tiger Lizard Dose, activating the Ibly effect, summon it on your opponent's field. You activate the Lizard Dose effect, banishing itself, targeting the Ibly, and the Ibly attack is now 800, and you get to draw a card. If you didn't get Joeled, it's fine. So, but if you did it, then you have 1 more card. So while this card is face up on our opponent's field, our opponent cannot special summon monsters except link monsters. So realistically, their only out to this is that they normal summon a guy, then link summon using those two. So if they attempt to do that, we're able to just, use our double cross that, we set, of course, before passing turn, and we flip it. Then we take that monster and put it as material for sprint, which is awesome. Though, let's say if our opponent tries to switch this to attack and try to attack into this, they can't do that because realistically they just be taking damage. They can't get rid of the ability that way. So their only outs to this is either to tribute over it or find a way to send it to graveyard by an effect, maybe like drop it or something like that. Though they're still gonna have to deal with like a full-on board plus having to get rid of that, which is insane. Though at this moment, since it is just like a 1-card combo, what it can do, and realistically it is pretty weak for what it is. Though Spright is a deck that you have so many like different engines that you can just draw into. For example, the Spright monsters pretty much get you into different types of interruptions, and having the Swap Frog, having the Nimbles, having all these engines that are just really good. It lets us summon different interruptions on our field, and with that we're able to potentially just out whatever our opponent has next. And now for our 2-card combo, we have Swap Frog and a Spright Blue. So first off, we're going to normal summon Swap Frog, use effect, sending the Mirror Mage effect, adding ourselves the Freezing Chains. We are going to use the Freezing Chains, summoning here. Since they're both Aquas, we're able to right off the bat make a totally awesome. So right now we already have a negate, and since it is a rank 2 monster, we get the special summon Spright Blue from hand, use Spright Blue effect, adding ourselves a Spright Jet, then use the Spright Jet to special summon itself, use Spright Jet effect, adding ourselves a Spright Starter. Then we're going to grab these two, make a sprint effect, sending a Nimble Angler. Then we're going to Nimble Angler effect, summoning both the beavers in this case. And now we're going to grab these two, making a Gigantic. Then we're going to Gigantic effect, going to detach to summon a Spright. So in theory, you can just summon all these in defense, summon the Ibli instead, then link off and make Ibli. Though I didn't want to show off just another Ibli combo, so just in case, say different combo. So we're gonna summon the Spright, which is a monster negate, and now we're going to take these two, making a IP Masquerena. And we're going to set our Spright Starter here. Then we're going to pass turn here. So right now we have a negate, another negate, and an interruption. Though the best part about this, the IP here, is because you get to use during the standby phase, you get to use the totally awesome effect to attach one and summon yourself a Swap Frog. So right here you have a material for IP Masquerena, which is awesome, summoning the SP. And then you're able to, banish this SP, and maybe if a scenario gets a Yugioh, you get to use the effect of red to tribute here. And, at any point of the turn, you're able to use a Spright Starter to summon yourself a Spright Carrot, which I forgot to put at the top of the deck, but it is fine. So, and this is your spell negate, your spell trap negate. So, yeah. Also, another case, if you didn't need to summon the carrot in this case, you're able to just summon the Spright Blue, add yourself Spright Jet, then next turn you have full combo pretty much, which is awesome. I really like that a lot. For me, just summon Spright Jet, add yourself another starter, which is cool. So yep, that is pretty much it for the combos that this deck can make. I genuinely think that this deck is really cool for this format, though it definitely is slightly underpowered because, just by the sake of power creep. Though, this deck, if it ever does get support, I think it's going to be crazy. So, yeah. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't. And let's go.